Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. Time for the live stream here in New Vienna, Iowa. It's Sunday, July 26th, 2020, and it is a pretty warm day out there today. I was playing out with the kids in the kiddie pool, and we still couldn't get cooled down enough, even though we were sitting in the water. So, definitely a warm one, at least for us here, relatively speaking. They say it's supposed to storm later today, but I just don't see it happening. And usually you can kind of see the storms coming from here, especially from the second floor up here. I can usually see them coming from several miles away, but it doesn't look like it right now. But we'll see, because it has been just so super humid lately. I think I'm out of focus. It has been so humid lately that I just feel like the air is so heavy and thick. I'm actually hoping for some rain. All right. So, yeah, sorry for the extreme close-up. It does that every time I do the manual focus. But sorry. How's everybody doing? Jody Runs says, good day, everyone. Martha's here. Not really Hank Aaron. You guys talking about some more food. See, it's not just me talking about food. You guys talk about food. Louis Becerra's here. Awesome. We got JC. And we got, I see, Brett Legas, EL, and his Dunbar says, hi, Kofuzi and everyone. Chris Dyke says, hey, folks. My mom's here coming in from New Jersey. And David Sachs says, what's up, everybody? Oh, he says, what's everyone? Hangyu says, what's up? And Steve Ehrenberg said, did you test the knee today? Yes, I did. I just, for some reason, I forgot to do my Instagram post this morning. I just kind of lost track of the day, but yeah. So I went out for 30 minutes. Like by last evening, my knee was feeling really good. And then when I woke up this morning, my knee felt just completely normal. Like I didn't have any hint of what's been going on the past couple of days. So I figured I'd go out for 30 minutes. So I just went out super, super slow. And just went out and didn't have a route planned. I figured I'd look at the clock, and at 15 minutes, I would just turn around and come back. And I felt great. So feeling good. All systems are go. I mean, I'm not going to dive into training again. But otherwise, I'm feeling really good. So very pleased with that, very relieved. I still would like to kind of get that sorted out. I don't know if I need to see a running mechanics coach or if I need to see a physical therapist or an orthopedist. I don't know, but I figure I should start at one of those and see kind of like what happens. Cause like my approach is just going to be to keep doing what I've been doing. And I think that's just going to keep getting me what I've been getting. So I gotta do something about it. So still working on it. EL says it's very warm here as well. Stormy tomorrow. And then it looks like there'll be some cool weather. That kind of sounds like the exact forecast for this area here, but that's kind of like the forecast every day here this summer. There hasn't been that much rain. There's been a lot of forecasted rain, and then we've just never been getting it. When that happens in the summer around here, people start getting worried about the corn. And my father-in-law has mentioned a couple of times that he's concerned about the corn. So hopefully the corn is doing okay. It looks like it's growing like crazy. But yeah. And even some of the areas that there was a really bad storm here a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago. And it was right when the last time we mowed lawn. And then we drove down to Guttenberg to mow the lawn. We drove by a whole bunch of fields where there had been lots of significant wind damage to the fields. But even those, I think that the corn has come back. My mother-in-law said, no, that's going to be silage corn now. I don't really know what that means. I think it means it goes in a silo, but I don't know. I think that just means it's not really usable for its originally intended purpose and maybe a salvage kind of use. So I think that's what's going on. So people are concerned about the corn here this year. But yeah, so DiMaggio Brown says, love the Q&A update from Garmin. Sarcasm at its finest. Yeah, I like it's a terrifying situation. I can only imagine that every other watch company out there is just like, just don't be Garmin right now. Don't be Garmin, I think is what's like very concerning. Yeah, because especially now, well, I don't know, is it better or worse that there aren't races to train for this to happen? Like, is it worse for it to happen like while people, like if everyone was in like marathon training mode right now, getting ready for their September and October marathons, would it be worse for this to happen now, or would it be worse? Is it worse now because like we don't have races, so like the daily data is all we have? I'm not sure which is worse. In either event, no situation isn't good. Jay Page says, "Hot muggy day in Houston." Hi everyone. Yeah, Jay Page, I'm glad that the storm, the Hurricane Hannah, is it? I'm glad that is. It looks like it's missing you guys, but I think you guys are still getting quite a bit of weather though, huh? Hopefully you guys are doing all right. Plant Power Dan says, I like that name, Plant Power Dan. Hey guys, I'm alive. Just got a 5-hour epic in the deserts of Tucson. Got lost for 2.5 hours without water. What? But I'm out. I am glad to see you, Mike. I am glad to see you, Plant Power Dan. Getting lost for 2.5 hours this time of year in the desert in Arizona sounds terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But especially because it doubled the amount of time you're planning to be out there. Ooh, that's scary. That's really scary. In his number says, "How's the Ben Parks getting it done hat, Kofuzi?" It's nice. It's a little bit bigger than I was expecting that it was going to be. I kind of, because of the way that the back is on these, I thought that these were like that he was branding Cieli hats. They kind of look like that, but they're not. The front is not quite a trucker hat, but it's a little bit more roomy like a trucker hat. So it's a little bit bigger, but the material, I haven't run in it yet. It seems like it's going to be, there's no like styrofoam in here like a lot of trucker hats have. So I like it. It's nice and floppy. I think it's going to be able to handle a whole bunch of washes. It's 100% polyester. So I think that in that respect, it'll be nice. And man, Ben Parks, he knows how to make merch. His merch is the best merch by far of all the other merch that I've bought. Ginger Runner is a very close second, but like he's got it. I mean, Believe in the Run makes really good merch too. Basically, everyone makes really good merch except me. I gotta step that up. But like he's got his logo here. It's got Parks written on it here. He's got his hashtag saying on this side, and then on the back, there's a little logo and then Ben Parks on the front. So he's like got all these nice little touches. It's not like, I mean, it seems like a lot, but it's not overdone. He's got nice little touches everywhere. Really well done. I'm very impressed. I'm always impressed when I get stuff from him. And this I did buy with my own money. So just to put that out there. Casey A says, hey y'all. Steve Arnberg says, anyone here over 100 miles in the Hyperion tempo? Is the TNA Flash midsole holding up? I think Seth James Moore is over 100 in his. And is Andy, FOD runner? I don't know if he's here today. I wonder if he's over 100 in his. Let's see. Oh man, Plant Power Dan. That was I'm glad you're alive, because he says, "Oh, and I friggin' dropped my food on the trail and lost it." You lost your food and you're out there for twice as long as you thought you'd be in the desert. Scary. So super, super scary. I'm glad you're okay. Martha is close to that 100-mile mark in hers, and the midsole and outsole are doing great. I don't know where I think I'm at like 70 miles or so. I'm pretty close. A couple more runs and I'll be there. But Steve says he's at 175 and it feels like it's losing some magic. Maybe it's his imagination. It's interesting. David Sachs talking about Garmin says, I have a feeling Garmin has no clue on how to handle this outage. Oh, that sounds pretty right. I have a feeling like most companies wouldn't know what to do with something like that. Although it should be something that they plan for and have some sort of contingency. But I don't know. I don't know. What do you do? Do you just pay it? Does Garmin have $10 million of cash on hand that they could do that? I don't even know. Like, they might have, it might have been like, like Dr. Evil going back in time and asking for $1 billion. And then people are like, what? It doesn't even exist. Yeah, it's such a horrible situation. Oh, man. Doka Tiger in here says, good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you, Jeff. JCC says, "Hi Kofuzi. Today I ran my first 50-mile week with MAF. Oh, where's my sounds? I need sounds. Here we go. This one. There we go. Good job. That I need to get a better cowbell. I need to just record my own sounds. But congratulations, JC, on running your first 50-mile week map. That's great. Let me know how you're feeling. It probably felt easy, or was it your first 50-mile week ever? Because if it's with map, it's usually a lot slower, so it should be relatively easy on your body. Other than probably took a lot longer than you're used to miles taken. Dimaje Brown says Koros or Sunto for distance running. Other recommendations? I've not run in a Koros before. I think that I probably need to get one in. I'd like to get one in at some point. So I'll take a look at some of those. But I like Sunto, but I just have a hard time reading their watch faces. They're not bright enough for me. I think I'm just getting old, but I can't see them. I do like Polar. Garmin I would normally really recommend. It's kind of hard to recommend Garmin right now. Not that I see this as being a permanent problem, but we're also in day 3, day 4. So who knows how much longer it could go. Joey Del Rosario says, I noticed the world's fastest man, Usain Bolt, wears Pumas and appears to be sponsored by them. Are there any shoes of notoriety in the Puma line that you heard of in the running world? His spikes, that's about it. They had a foam, I forget what it was called. It looks a lot like Boost. It's like if you took Boost and mixed in some other particles in it, because it was supposed to be like a 2-part foam. But usually when people talk about 2-part foams, it's like there's a top layer and a bottom layer. The way this was, it would be like if you mixed like the Boost pellets with something else pellets and then made one foam out of it. They had that for a while. I don't know if they're still using that. And then they have something that now just looks like regular Boost that I think is in their basketball shoes. I've not tried any of them myself. But, I mean, for Usain Bolt as a sprinter, I don't think he needs any of that for the kind of training that he does. I think he just needs track spikes or flats because he's usually on the track. Let's see, KCA says, so did my first run in the endorphin speed yesterday. Finished my 5-mile run around Boston 10 minutes faster than normal. Whoa, wow. That's a lot faster than normal. 10 minutes faster for a 5-mile run? Legs are hurting much more today. Good with the bad. Yeah, I mean, it's a good kind of hurt, right? It's a good problem to have, maybe. But hopefully that means you like them. Yeah, good with the bad. Yeah, so hopefully you liked them. Yeah, Martha says the U.S. Treasury and various laws make it near impossible for companies to pay the ransom. I thought that companies frequently did, though. That was the thing about like these kinds of like data like ransom schemes is that like typically they got the money and got away with it. That's why it keeps happening. Don't go Tiger. That was a lame cowbell. Yeah, I know. Like I used Epidemic Sound and their music is great. Their sound effects, I think their sound effects are geared more towards like if I wanted to put a sound in a video, like if I had like captured footage of a cow and wanted to make a sound of it, like, you know, that wasn't natively on the film for some reason. That's so there's not a good cowbell. I need to like just record a cowbell, but like I have like 8 of them at home in Chicago, and I kind of am refusing to buy another one, but it might come to that. Matt Legrand says, great work on the running this week and FKT. Thanks, Matt. Thank you so much. Joy Del Rosario says, more cowbell. Yeah, the cowbell needs to be more like enthusiastic. It's like a lackluster cowbell. I got to work on it. Steve Ehrenberg says, just heard today about Fuel Cell Prism out in September. Definitely on my list. Offers a little support in a light shoe. Who's been running in that one already? I think Ben Johnson's been running in that one already. And then I feel like, is it out in the UK already? Because I'm pretty sure I've seen a couple other people running them already too. Jody Run says, Sunto has fantastic watches, but crap software. Yeah, I had the Sunto something I had like a mid-level Sunto. It was one that was really nice, but didn't have the barometer in it. It was good. I really liked it. I don't really remember the software interface part of it. Um, yeah, in terms of either the data or the user interface, it was not didn't stand out to me. So at least it wasn't bad for me. Bert is asking for more cowbell. Yes. He says he used to play percussion in a brass band. The cowbell was my favorite. Dual cowbells is even better for two-tone jams. Yeah. Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds so much fun. Dave says, well, your hair is getting long. When are the clippers coming out? I don't know. I think at this point, I'm going to just keep growing it out. And I'm going to try to get it into a little bit of a man bun. See if I could do that. We'll see if it can happen or not. Previous attempts that I've had to have some sort of man bun or ponytail have never really looked very nice. But like, I don't know. Maybe this time. Previous attempts at growing facial hair have also failed, and I feel like this time I'm kind of getting it. 17th time is the charm, I think. JC asks, how was the traditional late July turkey dinner? It was amazing. It was amazingly good. I didn't have any turkey, but my daughter ate probably almost half a pound of turkey. She just was scarfing it down. She was loving it. And that's all she ate. Turkey and ketchup. She has everything in ketchup. And she just would take the turkey and she would just pick it up with pieces of it with her hand, dip it in the ketchup, and just bite it. So she had a whole bunch of it, but there was sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes. We had corn, roast veggies, roast carrots. The roast veggies and roast carrots were left over from the night before. There was sweet corn. It was nice. And then there was Jell-O, which is also a Thanksgiving staple around here. And 2 of the 4 kinds of Thanksgiving pies that my mother-in-law bakes. She made a chocolate pie and a cherry pie. The cherry pie was for my father-in-law. He loves cherry pies, but he always complains that my mother-in-law never bakes cherry pie. So he got a cherry pie yesterday, and it was pretty good. Pretty good. I liked it. Awesome. Blas Grabner says, hey, first on today's video, how's it going? We're doing good, Blas. Good to see ya. Let's see. Where was it? It just jumped. Jim Duick, D-U-I-C-K. I'm afraid I don't know how to pronounce that. Dooch. If the crime group behind Wasted Locker is who attacked Garmin, they're on the OFAC list and sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department. I don't know anything about all that stuff. Lenny A says, please share your mother-in-law's caramel rolls recipe. I will try. Someone else asked for that in a comment, and here's the thing. My mother-in-law is really bad at sharing her recipes. I think it's somewhat intentional, but she also doesn't cook off a recipe. The only time she cooks off a recipe is when she makes cookies. Other than that, and even at that, she either does one of 2 things. She uses the recipe that's on the package of chocolate chips, or she has a note card that is weathered and sepia toned and 2 generations old that has cursive that I think is in German. So I can't even decipher them myself. And everything else, she cooks by feel, and she even bakes a lot by feel too. So this recipe, if I have her sit down, it's like having her create it, and she never really likes to do that. My wife has been trying to get her to do it for a long time, because my wife is tell me the 12 steps. I will do the 12 steps, or the 15 steps, or the 3 steps, however many it is, and tell me the steps, and I'll cook it. And it frustrates my wife when she cooks with her mom. But I will try to get that recipe, because it is absolutely delicious. It is so delicious. I think it's in other parts of the country, it's called monkey bread. And other times they put the rolls, there are these frozen little balls of dough, and you put them in an iron skillet sometimes, a cast iron skillet, and they get much more compressed together. I like the way that my mother-in-law does it better, because she gives them more room, so it's much more airy. But yeah, so that you could probably Google search that, but I'll try and pin her down and see if she can figure out like how to write down the recipe. Shannon, hey, how's it going, Shannon? She says, I've heard that for the FBI advises for these cyber crimes to just pay the ransom. That was my understanding too, but it seems like there is a variety of different opinions on that in the chat here today. So, but yeah, I don't know how that works. I just don't know. J Page is talking about more Puma shoes. Says, I have a lifestyle shoe from Puma with the Boost-like midsole. I used it for a Clamp Gladiator boot camp, and it's so comfy. Only problem is the upper is not built for fitness. I didn't know that at the time. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, Steve Ehrenberg says, Andy, FOD runner, has the Prism. That's how I learned about it. Oh, yeah. See, I think he's been liking his fuel cell shoes. It's an interesting shoe. I mean, where does the Prism fit? I don't know. I have questions. Where does the Prism fit? Does that mean there's not going to be a Rebel? I think there is a Rebel, too, coming out. I thought I saw pictures of it. I don't remember. I'm getting hazy on these things. Ted Ruth says, hope your knee is good, sir. It is. Thank you so much for asking. It feels remarkably good today. Yeah. So I'm feeling really happy about that. And it definitely is a reminder that, before, and tomorrow's video is going to be about kind of like, where do I go from here now? And I've kind of like, I did a 10K, which I really didn't do a 10K time trial, but at least I ran hard that day. And then I did this FKT attempt, which worked out well. And then like, now what with races not really being held? I mean, I was watching one of Seth's videos and it sounds like he's planning on going to Sacramento for CIM in December. I don't see that happening, not with how California is doing right now. But I don't know. So like tomorrow's going to be like a now what video. The first day, like the first rest day after the FKT, I was like, yeah, I just don't know how much fast running I really want to do anymore. The second day, that was when my knee was hurting more. The second day when my knee was starting to feel better, maybe that's what it was, or maybe it's just coincidence. I was like, all right, I'm ready to work hard again. So like, not that I haven't been working hard, but I'm ready to like very specifically work. But I'm also concerned about like, if I go into a marathon training block or even a half marathon training block, depending on when I start, I don't know when I'm gonna be able to start. It probably will be at least like 2 weeks before I can really start any sort of training regime or regimen. Is that that's going to put me at a weird time. I just don't know what's going to happen with like school and September coming up. And I don't know. There's a lot still in the air. So it seems foolish to plan a lot ahead. So I don't know, but yeah, the knee's feeling good. And it's got me thinking that I still want to run fast. I still want to do some harder running. I just don't know what kind or when. So at least I've narrowed it down a little bit. Ina Dunbar said, the FKT video is good. I'm so impressed you did it in sub 4, especially with the knee playing up. Yeah, thanks. I was hoping for 4 hours and I just barely squeaked in under there. So feeling good about it. Feeling good. And I'm glad that the knee issue, at least for now, I mean, who knows, like if for like a week from now I go for a longer run and it might act up again. But so far, knock on wood, feeling good about it. So, yeah. Dave says, the history between Puma and Adidas is super interesting. Founded by brothers. I don't think I knew that. Huh. So Adi Dassler's brother is formed Puma? That's weird. I didn't know that. Ross W says, his quarantine hair is reaching epic proportions as well. Junk brand headbands for every run these days. Yeah, I wish I could run with a headband. It just looks really ridiculous when I run with a headband. I'm very envious of soccer players that can run with like what looks like just like a shoelace tied around their head and it keeps all their hair down and they can run an entire soccer match that way. I remember that look. The first time I like noticed it was like during the World Cup in the 90s, the US World Cup. And I was like, That is a great look. And my hair was long enough to kind of do that, but my hair would never stay in it if I did that. And even now, like if I try to do that, like the second that I like release the knot, hair just starts poofing and coming out of it. It's just, yeah. My hair has a mind of its own, and it will do what it will do, and that's all. That's the only option I get. J Mike Remy's here. He says, "Everybody, hey, what's up, everybody? Long time no stream. Well, it's good to see you, J Mike." Louis M says, "Gotta get the Burt Reynolds stash." I'm working on it. I mean, how I gotta look. Well, how different is Burt Reynolds? Does he have? Because like I'm getting some handlebars here, and I'm just letting that grow in. I don't know. Does Burt Reynolds have handlebars, or does his just go really wide? I can't remember. Daniel Kang's here. Good to see you. He's just dropping in to say hi. Hello. Pete G 1980 says hi. How's it going? We're doing well here, Pete. The winds are picking up, so maybe we will get that storm today. JH says, what happened to Puma in the running market? Usain Bolt and all that jazz back in 2011 when I was in Korea. Nowadays, yeah, I mean, I don't think they ever really gained any traction from that. I think they're starting to make some basketball shoes, and I think some pros are wearing them, a handful. I don't know that they're making any real moves. Plant Power Dan says, embrace the strange. Yep. Oh, okay. Blas Grabner says, there's a whole documentary series about the Puma Adi brothers. One of them went to war. I couldn't watch the whole series, unfortunately, Blas Grabner says. Also, J.C. Owens wore their shoes. Did he really? I'm trying to picture that. Actually, Blas Grabner wrote J.C. Owens in his comment, like the initials J.C., and then he corrected it with Jesse, J-E-S-S-E. But I think that that's the same error that someone, like the media, because his name was J.C. Owens, I think. But it became, after that Olympics, Jesse Owens. So I think you're right, both, either way. EL says, I had quarantine hair, but barbers reopened here about a month ago. I felt extremely aerodynamic the first run without the quarantine hair. Yeah, I don't know. Like I was very close for the Heritage Trail run to just shave the whole thing off. Very close to it, because I'm like, it's gonna be hot. I mean, even if it's not hot and it wasn't that hot, I'm just gonna feel overheated by the end. So like, I want to be aerodynamic. So, and you know, I've been watching following Ben Johnson's Instagram, and he's got a shaved head, and I'm like, that could be me. That could be me. I could be like several degrees cooler every single run if I did that too. Shannon Side says, after my first childbirth, I was like, never again. After the second kid, I wanted to do it again immediately. Adrenaline asunder. Kind of like my 2 actual marathons. That's interesting. Oliver Grass says, hi from Ireland. What's going on, Oliver? Olivier. Looks like Olivier Grass. Jay Page talking about you guys know a lot about Adidas. I'm glad I never did like an Adidas trivia day, because I would have gotten destroyed by you guys. Jay Page says, yep, the brothers had disagreements and split. 1947, one forming Puma, which had a different name at first, and the other formed Adidas. There's a film on it as well. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna check it out. That also reminds me of is it like the Kellogg brothers, like the cornflakes? There's like a family split. There's like some like espionage that happens in it. Not espionage, just like one brother stole like the recipes from the other brother, but they got to break in to do it. So it kind of sounds like that. But it's much funnier when you're thinking about cornflakes than it is about sneakers. And I think that there was a drunk history about it too, which and at the same time, there is like an actual not comedic documentary about these two brothers. And the way that they were filmed, I think that they filmed them like with the exact same cameras and the exact same like color profiles as well. Like it's like a weird sepia tone that they used. Almost like a black and white, but kind of sepia-ish. But like the cinematography is so similar that I frequently forget which one I'm watching when I watch the two different ones. But it's pretty funny. J. Mike Remy asks, so is everyone switching to Polar now? Great watches. I mean, I like Polar watches, but I mean, I don't think everyone's switching now. I don't think people should go out and switch just because their data is kind of like locked up, or at least the online syncing is locked up from Garmin. At least not yet. I mean, let's see what happens, I guess. Blaz Grabner says, he's in Slovenia, says, our best female sprinter is sponsored by Puma. Cool. Yeah, I would think that, Puma has much broader appeal in the sprinting world, and possibly more so in Europe, which now makes more sense now that I know that it's from Germany. But I think in the US, there's not a lot of traction for those shoes here. Like, I don't think that I don't even know where I would get a pair. Like, if I was like, I really want to review a Puma running shoe, other than going to puma.com, if that's actually the website, I don't know where I would go to get them. Because I've never seen them in a running store, as far as I can remember. Yeah. Jonathan Fan says, how long have you been vegetarian? A little bit before the baby was born. So the baby's turning 4. So like 4.5 years. And I'm not completely vegetarian. I'm definitely not vegan. I will have meat occasionally. So, but like mostly vegetarian for 4.5 years. Bart Osh says, any suggestion for a shoe with a wide landing platform for easy recovery runs? 2019 and 2020 models are welcome. I've been really enjoying the Ride 13, although it's not as wide as it has been in other years, it seems. And maybe I'm just imagining it, but I think it's not as wide, but I still think it's very good. The Clifton, I think, qualifies. Oh, this white balance is crazy. I think the Clifton is always a good choice for a wide landing platform. I think the Ultra Escalante was a really nice wide landing platform as well. And I want to say the Triumph 17, but I feel like that shoe was a little bit snug around like the toe box. It just was really, it was like a very firm hug. It wasn't like tight, but it wasn't loose either. So maybe not that one. Martha says, I permitted my husband to cut my hair and it's not half bad, which means it's half bad. She's kidding, but that's very funny. It's pretty good and I run faster now. Well, there you go. It's a win. Definitely a win. JH says, I've decided I don't like short distances at speed. I hit 19 minutes, 12 seconds this weekend for a 5K and never again. Yeah. I don't like short distance at speed either, but I feel like, I'm ready for another attempt at it. But I don't know, like, I'm debating, like, should I train for a 5K time trial now, or should I just start getting into a marathon training block now? I'm not sure. Like, I don't know, like, and then what happens at the end of it? Do I run an unsupported, or maybe I run some loops and I'll stash some water somewhere? Like, I just don't know, what does it look like at the end of it? The good thing being, I really like training. Racing is okay. I think because I don't have that like competitor's fire. Like when it's like, all right, you run with your head the first 10, you run with your heart the second 10, and then you just run whatever you got left for the last 6 mile, for the last 10K of a marathon. Like, I'm just like, I'm pretty good. I never have that like burning desire to like really dig deep. I have a hard time accessing that. So like so I'm trying to figure out like, what do I do? And running 5Ks, it's so unpleasant. I don't like it. 1912s though, that's a good place to kind of leave it for a little while. That's a good respectable time. Plain Power Dan says, I just got the Chorus Apex. Where did that go? It always happens. After I'm like a sentence into a comment, the screen will jump on me. Plain Power Dan says, I just got the Coros Apex. Haven't tried it yet, but they are a newer company who seems to be trying very hard. I would agree. I agree. They are making a lot of good marketing moves, I would say, right now. Louis M says, oh, I saw the drunk history and the cornflake story. It's really funny, isn't it? It's really funny. And if you ever watch like the History Channel, like actual documentary on the same subject, it's so remarkably similar. It's like as if they got the same actors. I don't know if it's History Channel. I forget which one I'm looking at, but yeah. Martha says, if she switched to Polar, they'd probably get attacked the next day. Well, you can stay in Garmin then, please, Martha. Will W says, loves Polar, especially Polar Flow. It rocks. Love them since the M400 and the V800. Yeah, I think that I had one of the old M series. I had a Polar heart rate monitor, my first heart rate monitor that I ever had. It was a chest strap that connected to a watch, but I never really wore the watch because I only got the heart rate monitor to run on treadmills. This was back when my wife and I were engaged. And so this would have been like 2007. And yeah, I thought it was great. It worked well, but it was nice because like it could just speak to the treadmill. So like I wouldn't have to like hold on to the treadmill to figure out what my heart rate was. I would just be able to like stand next to it and it would show up on the screen. And I thought that was amazing. I thought that was magic. I don't remember what watch it was though. Dave says, what drop millimeter do you currently run in? I'm a taller and heavier runner. I've been running in the Brooks Ghost line for ages. They are 12 millimeters. What difference would it make to go to 10 millimeters or 8 millimeters? I run in a variety of things, everything from 12 to 0. The 12 right now would be my Wave Rider from Mizuno. The 0 would be the Ultra Superior. And then I tend to like shoes that are in the 8 millimeters or 6 millimeters kind of category. That seems to like agree with me a little bit more. But the difference it would make to go from 12 to 10 to 8, I think that it would be coming from a Ghost. The Ghost just feels so tall. And I feel like going from that 12 millimeters to anything else would feel quite different. The 8 would feel way, way different. How much would it matter? I'm not sure how much it like really matters other than like, do you like it in my mind? And then some people will say that at faster speeds, then heel drop becomes important again. But I think a lot for most people, for most of your runs, the heel drop is more about comfort and how like smooth does the shoe feel. And that overall smoothness of experience, you can't reduce down to the heel drop number. So, and I've been saying it for a while, I think that the heel drop is overvalued as a metric because it doesn't really tell you what, like it doesn't serve as an accurate proxy of what people think it serves as a proxy for in terms of how does it feel to run in it. So, it matters because 12 is a lot. But how much of a difference is, I'd say give it a try if you're looking for something new. Dokatagarin, Adidas vs. Puma, The Brothers Feud. The movie is on Prime Video. Okay. I gotta write that. Sorry, I'm gonna take a note to myself to write it. Because you guys always mention such good stuff to me, and then I always forget it. It's called Brothers Feud. All right. Yeah. Wes Anderson says the Torn 4.5 plush would be perfect for a wide, easy day shoe. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. It just looks. It's quite a commitment. I feel like to get into that shoe. It's not a subtle shoe. That's I think that's what I'm trying to say. And Zumbar says, it's strange when you finish your running goals. I'm having an easier few weeks after finishing my 1,000 mile challenge and the 100 mile week. I'm starting to think about what's next. Yeah, it is when you finish a running goal. I agree with you. I agree. That's where I'm at. You and me. We've been doing a lot of like similar running this summer, it seems. Let's see. Blaz Grabnar says, if you would go animal-less, would you go plant-powered or vegan? What's the difference? I mean, plant-powered is like just vegetables, and I would think that, like, you know, I eat lots of eggs and I love dairy and cheese. So I don't really call myself a plant-powered athlete. But if you're not having eggs and cheese, aren't you then like vegan? Or do you have to like also take out like honey and sugar, like cane sugar to be consider yourself a vegan? I don't know. I don't know the different terms. Paul Bratcher says, ran my first 15 miler. How do you keep focused and not get distracted by the hurt and the pain? Well, do it more often. Running more often is always my answer to most running questions. But if it's your first time, and congratulations on that. Oh, let's get a cowbell in there for that. Oh no, wait. And here's what we gotta do for that. First 15 miler. There we go. All right, first 15 miler. Congratulations, that's awesome. I remember one time when I ran the Soldier Field 10 mile, I felt like the bottoms of my feet were gonna fall off because like my feet were just felt so rubbed raw from it. But yeah, how do you not get distracted? A lot of those signals that your body is getting is just like self-defense mechanisms. You know, it's just saying like, we've never done this before. I'm not sure if we can do this. Let's send off all the red flags we can to try and get this guy to stop, right? So I think that's part of what it is that you have to experience that, prove to your body that you are not in fact going to die, and make sure your body becomes aware that, look, this is what's going to be happening for a while. So stop complaining. Not that you're complaining, but like stop sending all those like distress signals and let's focus on the task at hand. So like some repetition and knowing that you can do it, I think goes a very, very long way. The other thing to do about it, I remember, you know, when I was really looking to start making my runs longer, I would do two things. One is I would slow down, because then you're in it for distance and you're not in it for time. You're not going to do longer distance and a fast pace at the same time. That's just too much to bite off in a single run. So slow down. And then the other thing is I would do a lot of meditating and like focusing. And meditating is maybe not the right word. I would kind of try and zone out, focus on breathing, and I would look ahead at something and making sure that I could still kind of keep an eye in my peripheral vision of like any obstacles or things that I might have to be mindful of. But like look far out at something in the distance, like lock in on it, but don't focus on it. Kind of like when you're looking at 3D Magic Eye, you're looking at it and you let your eyes kind of like blur over. I would kind of do that at something generally far in the distance. And then once I got close to that, I'd pick another far thing out in the distance. So that was kind of my way of meditating through a longer run. The other thing to do is bring some earbuds and listen to an audiobook or a podcast or some really intense music, whatever you need to do to get through it. But once you get through it a couple times, your body will start to like figure it out and be like, okay, he's not giving up. So we might as well figure out some coping mechanisms. So your body will. Let's see. Will W says congrats on the 15 miler. JH says congrats. Maria Lewis says, should I run on a treadmill with a smartwatch? I usually run with my smartwatch on a treadmill. And like a lot of smartwatches will have or running watches will have a treadmill feature. So they might turn the GPS off, but it'll still keep track of like your heart rate and then at least the duration of your activity. So that way it gets added into your weekly activity levels. So that's what a lot of people do. I also have a foot pod, so I still get pace and distance data on my watch. It's not locked inside the treadmill itself. So I still run with mine, but lots of people don't. Lots of people just kind of like, all right, I'm just going to do an hour on the treadmill and I'll run easy, watch TV or read a magazine while I'm doing it, and kind of do that. I can't read a magazine when I'm on a treadmill. I just get so sweaty and gross. The magazine would be soaked by the time I was done. So I can't do that, but yeah, I do like to watch videos and stuff if I can. Sometimes it makes me motion sick, but yeah, but I usually do have a watch, but lots of people don't. It's up to you. Jonathan Fan says, do you apply sunscreen? Let's see. Where is it? See, it happens every time I get like half a sentence in. Jonathan says, I think it was something about, do I apply sunscreen during a run? I absolutely do. And I think some of you guys have seen it before, where we got this new stuff that has zinc in it, the super white cakey stuff. And like, sometimes I'll have it if I don't take a shower after I put it on, like if I'm going outside with the kids. I have some on my face today, so I'm a little bit lighter than usual. It still stays on there, but that's what I've been running on. So like, I definitely have sunscreen on every day. J Page says, the closest thing to a running store that you would find a Puma would be Foot Locker, maybe Finish Line. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Matt Legrand says, what about training for a solo mile? I don't know what your PRs are, but maybe aim for 5:30. I think that my high school PR was like 5:40, 5:48, 5:45, 5:40 something. So I was never a speed demon. So, yeah, I think that I would try to probably beat 5:40 for a mile. But I don't even know how to train for a mile. I would have to do like 200-meter repeats and stuff like that, right? How long does a mile race training plan take? Do people train? I mean, there are milers out there and they train specifically for it, and they'll run 40, 50 miles a week just to run a mile, right? I don't even know. I wouldn't even know how to train for that. But that's something I could look into. But that's a different level of hurt from a 5K entirely. Bert says, after achieving a goal, I always have a week in the black hole thinking, now what? Yeah, I feel that. JH says, speed trials make my heart rate increase and it feels like work stress and anxiety, the opposite of what I get from a long run. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you on that. That's why I'm like, I just like these long runs. Maybe I'll just do long FKTs. Then I don't have to run fast. But I'm like, no, I think I want to run fast a little bit. Dave said after he finished his last marathon, had a heavy dose of post-marathon blues. Big training block done. It'd be great for you to dig into that topic into your vid tomorrow in relation to your 50K. I think I will because I'm still so undecided about it. But yeah, that's a good idea. In doubt of what my next goal should be after the 50K, 3:30 marathon or 50 miler. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think that those things are that mutually exclusive. It depends on what your 50 mile. If your 50 miler is going to be in lots of trails and lots of elevation, that's one thing. I don't think that they're that incongruous. But yeah, but I feel like I kind of am feeling like if you've had a good 50K, the next thing to do is to like focus on a better marathon, because it's still a similar distance, but you can like focus in on speed, and you've built a really strong base there. To get from 50K to 50 miles just seems like so much more, because you're going from 30 miles to 50 miles. It's so much more. It's just so much more. Like I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it, personally, from my experience, you know.
Dad,
yes?
dinner's in 25 seconds.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What's for dinner?
Fruit salad.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, yummy, yummy. Okay. All right.
And there's all of the fruits in there.
All the fruits are in there?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Even strawberries?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I'll be right down. All right, guys. We got to do one more. Because dinner's going to be ready in 25 seconds, and we're having fruit salad for dinner. Let's see. Let's do one more here. Blaz Grabner says, in terms of the difference between like vegan and plant-powered, the difference is the reason. Vegan is for animals. Plant-powered is because of health. I understand it like that. That makes a little bit more sense to me. Let's see. And J. Mike Remy says, yes, no honey, butter, or other animal products. Vegan is hardcore. It does sound hardcore. Or other animal products. That means like you couldn't even have like a limited edition running shoe that had like a leather trim. That would be hard. Not that that would be like the reason, like, well, I want to have the occasional like collector's item shoe, so I'm not going to be vegan. I just really like eggs.
Dinner's ready in 2 minutes.
2 minutes now? Okay, I'll be right down. All right.
And what do you want to drink? Mom?
I got some lemonade here. I'm okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Make sure to bring it down.
I will. All right. Yeah. Not really. Hey, Aaron says, have a great supper. Bye. That's a perfect way to end it for today. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to go have fruit salad for supper. Hopefully you guys have a good supper as well, or dinner, if that's what they call it, where you're from. It's only not even 4 o'clock here, so we're not exactly having dinner, but that's what the baby thinks we're having, right? All right. Can you say goodbye to everybody?
Bye.
Bye. Be safe, everybody. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you.